It's YouTube Music. Download the app today and get a trial of Music Premium on us. Terms apply.
productive anywhere with mobile downloads. Start a trial of YouTube Premium on us and learn uninterrupted.
This is Jeremy. He hitchhiked his way 100,000 miles around the world without spending any money. As impressive as that I'm about to show you how you can go on the ultimate free ride yourself. In fact, if you click here right now, I'll show you how you can hitch a stock market free ride to potentially grab 78%, 225%, and even 540% overnight gains without risking a single cent of your starting capital. Stories like Jeremy inspire me. I always wish I had the freedom to take off and do what I wanted without having to worry about money. Listen, I used to work as a hedge fund trader at one of the world's biggest banks. I was trading a portfolio over $30 million, but I hated every second of it. I knew I didn't want to be chained to a desk on Wall Street for the rest of my life. I had to find a better way. Now I trade my own home on my own time, and I'm making more money than I ever could working for any hedge fund. I'm enjoying life in sunny Florida, spending time with my family and friends, out on the water, doing what I love. And the money kept pouring in, so I bought a couple of boats and a few toys. I'm not telling you this to brag. I want to show you how you can achieve the same financial freedom for yourself. So if you click here right now, I'll show you how you can get in on the next stock market free ride. How you can potentially triple your money overnight without risking a single penny of your own money. My secret weapon is this calendar with ties to a U.S. federal agency. It tracks news about stocks in a sector that is absolutely booming right now. On specific pre-scheduled days, news is released. Depending on the news, these stocks either shoot up like rockets or tank to the floor. Either way, there is a killing to be made. The problem is that you have no way of knowing whether the news will be good or bad. And once you do, it's already too late to cash in. But that changes today. You see, I discovered that my former colleagues and competitors in the hedge fund world have secretly been taking advantage of this calendar for years. They have early access to information that allows them to put down highly lucrative insider trades. They aren't stupid enough to place their trades directly through the stock market though. They trade derivatives that are nearly untraceable. Nearly. Because I have spent the last few years developing a system and software that can detect and track their hidden moves. And if you click here now, you can hitch a completely legal ride on their insider trades to potentially grab 540% overnight gains without risking any of your own money. Just like Matthew B. from Austin, Texas, who almost made $1,010 on a single day with a small account. Or Mark D. from Boca, who doubled his account for the second time. And I love this one from Jordan in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It proves you don't need a big trading account to start making big wins. And now it's your turn, because I have 4 potential free ride dates marked on my personal calendar right now. If you click here now, I'll give you these free ride dates today, and I'll show you how you can turn them into 78%, 225%, and even 540% overnight gains without risking a single cent of your starting capital. From Jordan in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It proves you don't need a big trading account to start making big wins. And now it's your turn, because I have 4 potential free ride dates marked on my personal calendar right now. If you click here now, I'll give you these free ride dates today, and I'll show you how you can turn them into 78%, 225%, and even 540% overnight gains without risking a single cent of your starting capital. From Jordan in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It proves you don't need a big trading account to start making big wins. And now it's your turn, because I have 4 potential free ride dates marked on my personal calendar right now. If you click here now, I'll give you these free ride dates today, and I'll show you how you can turn them into 78%, 225%, and even 540% overnight gains without risking a single cent of your starting capital. From Jordan in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It proves you don't need a big trading account to start making big wins. And now it's your turn, because I have 4 potential free ride dates marked on my personal calendar right now. If you click here now, I'll give you these free ride dates today, and I'll show you how you can turn them into 78%, 225%, and even 540% overnight gains without risking a
guys, let's go through here. Everyone should see and hear me. I'm gonna unmute myself to check and see. Oh, I think I may have. Oh, everything may have gotten messed up sound-wise. That'd be my bad. Yeah. Maybe. All right, sounds good. I got a sounds good. Okay, perfect. Let me just do this. So this is the intro stream here. So let's go full cam here for a second. FYI, there is a little bit of a delay on the stream just to play ball with Trade Ideas rules. I'm a consultant and everything there, but I definitely don't want to break those rules of just streaming everything live. So there's going to be a little bit delay from when you guys say something, I hear it. My plan for this stream is to basically just bring you on the first hour or so when I actually watch the market and do some trading, and then turn the stream off and kind of go over to do more of the other stuff that I do, the consulting and building scans and doing that type of thing. So we're going to be going over a bit of just my morning routine, I guess is a good way to start today. I think a morning routine, a healthy morning routine is very, very helpful, especially when it comes to doing something mentally exerting, like we do with trading, where we, spend a lot of time sitting here and doing this. So every morning I wake up and I meditate, and I walk my dogs, and try to get a workout in, these type of things, and then come down and sit down about this time, about a half hour for the market open. Most of you know that I'm an algo trader. I'm not, that computer, that overlay. Sorry about that, just music is louder than your voice. Yeah, we'll get all that figured out. My apologies. Let's just do it now, actually. Make sure nothing else is going to have, there, mute all that. Okay. All right, sorry again, just growing pains for the first stream, but I think everything should be good. But yeah, basically what I was just saying is morning routine's important. So I just went over briefly my morning routine before trading, which is, all about mind and body and everything, getting that right. And then let's get into the markets and see potentially what gappers we're going to trade. Again, most of you guys know I'm an algorithmic trader. By trade, most of the trades that I enter will be done via a robot, but I do like to take a look at the gappers and kind of see what's going on. So this little layout that you see is a layout that I do in the morning where I just want to set some price alerts, right? And if you're not familiar with Trade Ideas, again, that's how I scan, I backtest, I auto trade. I do all of that through Trade Ideas. Link is in the description right below the video. Go pick that up for sure. So, and again, I do have other responsibilities as well. So just FYI, maybe popping back and forth between those. So we can get rid of this because I guess I'm on the mic now. Actually, let's just minimize it and then make this a little bigger. First thing I like to look at is the SPY. Say, okay, what's the SPY doing this morning? Gap down. Don't know why, I don't really care, but still above. Let's get my Epic pen out. We're gapping down in through this area, which is a little bit above right here. It's a bit above this area here. As long as we're kind of above this support and resistance line I drew, I'm still going to be a buyer of this market. you know, a gap down or not. Again, with the election coming, I wouldn't be shocked to see, you know, this kind of stuff and people overreacting, saying this is bullish, this is bearish, this is blah, blah. It's pre-market volatility, right? Or it's pre-election volatility. So here are the gappers, and I do gappers a little bit differently than most people, where I do gappers by standard deviation. So I want to see, you know, what's gapping up more than it normally is, what's gapping down less than it normally is. So, you know, a simple dollar or percentage or something like that. It's too simplistic, in my opinion. So what I want to see is I want to basically Trade Ideas goes through and says, okay, this thing is gapping more than it normally is, or this is gapping less than it normally is. So for example, Duncan is gapping way more, you know, it's 11 standard deviation move. So it's way, way more than it normally is. So I will go through and I'm just going to set some price alerts here, right? I think if we kind of get over this area here, it might be interesting. So I'll put this in place, and I'm also going to go here into pre-market lows and do this. Short. I still want to make that a long. So I want price, if price falls to it, there we go. Edit long. I did that wrong. Let's just do this. Hello. Oh yeah, everything's a little bit slow with the stream. I might need to do some tweaking. I might be streaming it like an insane quality or something. Let me lower some things. Give my computer a bit of a break. Let's lower this a little bit to, I don't know, 2000. And let's do the video. I can't do that right now. That's okay. Okay. All right, so we're dropping a little bit here. Again, apologies. Thanks for everyone coming to the first stream. This will certainly get better as things go on, right? You know, as I get better with learning how all of this works. It's been a long time since I've done some serious streaming any more than kind of the Trade Ideas support stream. So YY, taking a look here, YY is actually really, it's just kind of in the middle of everything. That's not as interesting to me. KNDI, a little pop here. I was actually long KNDI from a swing here before, and that didn't end up working out too well. And then last is SELB. Really not much of a mover, but I'm going to mark these lows just to see if potentially we break down under that. And let's actually see, maybe if we pull back to this area. Again, some of these are pretty wide, but it's looking to see, you know, if the price can reach these levels, you know, where do I think they potentially bounce? SAP isn't interesting to me unless it can get, you know, kind of back to this 121 area. And then maybe we look for kind of a short-term bounce there. Excellent condition. Okay, I don't know what happened, but the stream just yelled at me to now to excellent condition. So hope everything's looking okay still. We'll see. And Oracle, I noticed a gap down in Oracle, which has been a really strong stock. So again, I'm always looking for places on where would a bounce be kind of interesting, right? So these pre-market lows I'm going to take a look at. You know, these after hour highs, this resistance area here is interesting here if I wanted to kind of fade that move. between these two levels, I'm really not super interested in the stock one way or the other. But so I'll just note, right? Note this, and then note this one here. And that's about it for the morning. Duncan is a high price equity. Now, see, I look at things a little differently. So you'll see when I get, actually, let's go over there now. Let's get over to my trading layout. This is just my pre-market layout. I think I've done enough looking at the gappers. Let's go to the docked scan layout, and if I click this button, if I do that right, you guys can see me. Not that one, that's docked scan. Let's go to this one. So this is, you guys are seeing about half of my monitor. So what you're not seeing on this side is, basically it's just a series of charts that and my price alerts. Let's open up price alerts through here, right? Those price alerts that I just built, you're not seeing those, and you're just not seeing a handful of different charts, just charts like this, right? I've got a bunch of little thumbnail charts over there. So again, if you are new here, I'm an algorithmic trader, right? So I will enter these positions based off of algorithms that I built, and little scripts too, where I'll say, okay, buy this here, set a stop half an ATR away and try to make 1 ATR for a play and risk X amount. And that changes my position size based on every single trade. So what I'm taking a second to do over on my other screen here is just go through and bring up these charts that we were looking at, right? The SAP, the Oracle, and SELB, just so I can watch those. Now, so full disclosure here, this that you're gonna see, this account is not a live account. I want to make sure that I can figure out a way to hide account numbers and everything from the internet before I go and kind of commit to, showing my live account. And I'm sure you guys can understand why, right? I don't have to explain to you. The internet is scary, and I don't want to risk you guys seeing anything. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking all of the trades that I'm taking in my live account, and I'm going to try to quickly mirror them over here. So when I talk about these algos, let me bring this in here. So this is Brokerage Plus, which is Trade Ideas' ability to auto trade. So one thing I'm going to turn on today is this one, which is going to auto trade a symbol list that I made Friday night of stocks that I think if they break yesterday's high, they can go. So that's one thing I'm going to trade, and I've mirrored that in my live account as well. But again, full disclosure, this one right here is a simulated account. Let's make sure the risk is about the same. No, so I need average true range divided by 2 and average true range. So, the long and short of it is what's going to happen with those symbols is if any of these symbols meet the criteria I put in this list, Trade is just going to trade them for me. It's going to put a stop loss, going to put a profit target, it's going to sell them at the end of the day, all of that. And I'm going to manage these things as time goes. I'm going to manage the trades myself. Now, I also have, let me delete some of these. I also have on my other screen these guys here. And what these ones here do is I can right click on any chart and I can say trade this with these different symbols, these different ways to go about doing it. And I can say, put the stop at yesterday's low, put the stop at yesterday's high, put the stop at today's low, put the stop at today's high. And what will happen is it will just take these trades for me, right? And I'm going to add 2 more that are going to say, for example, 100. Okay. For all, it's 100. Okay. So I can say I want to add a new strategy, and I want to put this, I want to call it ATR stop. And this one's going to be a long, and none of this really matters, but I'm going to just leave all these kind of as default. We're going to make that good to cancel, and we're going to do that +5. So basically, long and short of it is what I'm doing here is I'm saying I'm creating another button in which if I click it, it's going to buy the stock or short the stock, whatever I'm looking at, and it's going to set a stop that is 1 ATR or half an ATR away, which is, if you're a new trader, is the average true range of the stock. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to set the other one that's the other a short, and it's going to set that half an ATR above the stock, right? And we'll go through here, and again, you see me look over because that's where my live account is, and this is where the simulator that I'm showing you is. I didn't do that on the other one. Stop loss, short. So what these will do is they'll simply say, hey, if things are going great, it's going to stay in the position. If not, it's going to automatically set the stop, and it's going to calculate my risk, which is about in the neighborhood on a day trade is about $100 per trade, right? So I can go based off a stop loss and $100. So back to the Duncan question is I don't care if I take, 5 shares of this, and I don't care if I take 100 shares of it, right? It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't affect me because I'm always just risking $100, and I'm risking $100 to make, $200, $300, $400 on day trades. And then on swing trades, it's because you're trading less frequently, that risk is more. And it's, what the risk is shouldn't be relative to you guys, right? It should be a percentage of your account, right? So, on a swing trade, you would take 1 or 2% of the value of your account, for example, and say, hey, if I lose, I'm going to lose 0.5% or 1% of the value of my account. In day trading, I make that even less because, again, there'll be many day trades throughout the day. So just to walk through the screen, this is a short-term chart. I either have it as a 2 or a 5 with pre-market on or off. I have VWAP, and then I just have an 8 exponential moving average that I sometimes use as a trailing stop. Down here, I have, down here I have a 15-minute chart, no pre-market on because I just want to go further back, right? I want to be able to go, back 4 or 5 days and say, okay, is there any support resistance a couple days back, something like that. And then here I have a daily chart. Now, when it comes to swing trading, I just amplify all of these time horizon, right? So now here is my liked list. So here's a symbol list that I built Friday night. I sit down every night and I build the stocks that I think are going to go. I trade gappers sometimes. I kind of like the more analytical approach of finding a list of stocks that I think are going to move the next day and just, putting them in and saying, okay, that's, it's, I want the system to trade them for me because I don't want to do that amount of work, bluntly put. And then these are just different scans that I have on the go. Before people ask, these cannot be shared. They're different things that I'm working on, and they also have custom formulas which they can't be shared in. And I know the sun is super bright here, but and then that's it, right? So we just wait for the market to open. So, this is a stream for me, but again, if you guys don't know who I am, I consult with Trade Ideas, so you see me around their circuit a lot and things like that. So if you have any questions, right, feel free to put them in here. Note there's a small delay on the stream, so I'm going to see what it is you're asking, just a little bit late, but that's fine. And then again, I do have other responsibilities that I'm going to keep an eye on these other screens. But what I find is I'm more of a portfolio manager kind of thing, right? I have the scans happen. I have the positions put into my blotter, and I manage them. I don't trade them. All right, so we are 5 minutes to. I'm gonna grab my water. Always, always, always grab water when you're trading. All right, so with 5 minutes to go, I'm spending a lot of time over here, which you guys can't see, but let me put it over here, watching the market, right? Because the market is going to determine the direction of most stocks off the open here. Oh, don't want to open up that photos. I want to open up the Mac ones. We had an albino deer outside today, which was very interesting. I'm trying to share it with the guys over at Trade Ideas via Slack. Let's just do it this way. I have a strategy that relies on pivot points. Well, we have the normal pivot points. Now, areas of support and resistance, that's a little bit harder, right? Because that's a very subjective thing. We have pivots when it comes to fibs and pivots when it comes to like the floor trader pivots, right? So you could build a scan and say, hey, I just want to trade off of a floor trader pivots, but we have some support and resistance, some support and resistance kind of mindsets. But again, that's a very subjective thing. Like what needs to quantify something that is a support area or a resistance area. So yeah, again, you could probably with something and do something, but areas of support and resistance are one that's really hard to quantify. It's really hard to put into a bot because it's kind of so subjective. So the biggest play, I think, so the SPY, it looks like it's kind of coiling up here a little bit, right? It's turning higher. Now, if we go into the ones that we're looking at is Duncan here. It's gotten, like, this resistance area is holding pretty well. So, I would probably take a look for a short off of this area. So if we gap down, if on the open, so the current game plan with Duncan would be if we, run down off the open and then bounce, I would probably try to shorten that area with kind of a stop up here. And I think you could get something going there. And we just opened. I heard my robot man on the other screen. He said something. So I'm in something or out of something. Swing. ADP. Damn. Just looking at my swings here. So again, guys, I am mostly a swing trader, and I do some day trading. PRTS, which is Trade Ideas Trade of the Week. PRTS. Let me get that for you. If you're not subbed to the Trade of the Week, for sure do that. We give out a free trade. I've run some numbers on it, and like the orange line on the SPY in your chart, it's easy to draw manually. Oh yeah, for sure. It's hard to program those things, right? That's where the issue comes, where I can say, hey, trade around this area, and that's easy. I can just click on, let's just do something. So I could just say, hey, buy this in here. If I wanted to do that, I could just click on this and have that trade it super easily. Where's our Trade of the Week link? Well, I'm just waiting for everything to get going. So Duncan, it did the first move we wanted, which was down. Trade of the Week right here. Yeah, so if you're not getting the trade of the week, that's nice and free. Get it, right? Copy that. It's not doing that there. Hold on. All right, now we're getting to move up. So I'm zooming in here. Right, so it's kind of a breakdown and continuation. So I'm looking to see if we kind of fail around this area. You know, what does that look like? All right, so what I'm gonna do, I wanna just change this, and I wanna make that my default and that my chart default. So the game plan with this is, so the beauty of it is I can click this sell button right up here in trade ideas, and I can just click right here. And that should be the trade. And let's be a little greedier here on that. Okay. So I'm short in both accounts here on Dunkin, with kind of a stop loss up in this area and then a profit target down here. And again, this is kind of my favorite play, which is kind of called the two timing bastard, I like to call it, in which, well, I don't like it. It was my mentor who one of my mentors came up with the name, and is basically just saying, hey, it's looking for a stock that's, you know, breaking out of a room and coming back to a room, and then going from there. Tube. So we're basically looking to see if it breaks under. And this might have been something off with that number there. Should be risking 2 to make 1, which is what's happening in the other account. So then these are some automated scans that are looking for different things. Like, for example, this one's a pullback scanner. So it's looking for stocks that are down a little bit, weak, and they're popping up today. You know, here's looking for kind of the opposite, stocks that gapped up early and then they're pushing down in through here. Nothing is super interesting on these yet. Snap, you can see Snap's this thing's been wild. This has been crazy. I very much try not to touch those. You know, if you guys follow me for any length of time, if you know, you're watching the videos, if not, you know, please, right? Mostly what I do is trading videos. I give out trading content, free, live. You know, check out what I'm doing there. I've got a course. Let me actually find that too. In which there's the trade of the week. Let me find a course in which I am teaching my wife to trade. That's a free trading course that we give out. And I think it's, you know, biased, but I think it's great, in which, you know, I'm teaching her what is a stock and how do you buy and how do you sell and what is it that you're looking for and all of these type of things. And that's right there. Getting a bit of a move here in Dunkin. I'm spending a little bit of time over, you guys can probably notice every time I look over here on my other screen, just to see if there's anything going on in my swing trading accounts. And then I'm obviously, right, what I'm doing here on this for you, what I'm doing here, I'm doing here as well, right, in my live account, until I can make sure that there's nothing's going to pop up to say, hey, this is a, right, this is a, here's my account number, right, here's some this important information for me. It's getting a little bit of a move here in Duncan. Again, the game plan so far worked. It's to the point now where I just probably wouldn't lose in the trade. And, you know, you'll find out I'm a very boring type of a day trader like this, where I just want to take a hit or two a day. I just want to put that in my pocket, and I just want to move on, right? I'm not a scammer. I was going to say, I'm not a guy who says, oh, I'm going to try to make $100,000 today by scalping in and out real quickly. But spoiler alert, if you're seeing someone do that, they are not legitimate. There's just no way to do that with size. There's just no way that, you know, again, enough smack talking, I guess. So we're almost to target here on Duncan, and I'm actually going to cancel this, and I'm actually going to take out half of the position. Just watching closely. Yeah, just because this 2-minute candle looks like it may end bullish. So I'm just going to put a couple bucks in the pocket, and I'm going to take, you can click, and I'm going to add a stop loss, not a time stop, but I'm going to add stop order, and I'm just going to say if we get back over 104, then I want to get out, right? So over 104.10. So $70 again. It's not nothing. Not nothing. Not great. Let me just try to do the same thing. So I got a little bit of a better out in this market. In my real account, I got a little bit of a better out than there, but not too much difference. I made 100 in that account. And then, yeah, then we just trail the rest. So, you know, again, it's not super exciting trading. Here's one that's kind of interesting to me too. See if we can get a fill here. All right, so we're short a little sit group as well. Basically, the synopsis of here is big long run. Gap down today. Looks like it may break lows here. So I've got that. I've got an eye on there. So I've got that short as well. And I got pretty much same price in the other account here. So the game plan with these streams is to maybe go for the first hour or so of the day, get all the entries done. Generally, what my trading will be is I will enter a handful of positions in this first hour, hour and a half. Then I'll kind of manage them throughout the day while I'm doing other things. And then, so I'll turn the stream off maybe after the first hour or so. Planning on doing more streams when it comes to my scanning at night, building algorithms, that type of stuff. So, you know, just to be like every other sellout shill on YouTube, you know, there's the subscribe button. You got to click that. and then there's a bell next to it. If you click that, I think you can select only when I go live. I think there's an option there for that. And then it will just ping whatever device, because, you know, like today, for example, the wife's home, right? So I'm going to stream the morning and I'm going to do everything else I need to do throughout the day. And then we're going to hang out in the evening. But, you know, nights that she works late and things like this, I'll probably turn the stream back on near the end of the day, and I'll kind of scan and talk about what I'm looking at for the next day as well. And then I'm thinking of doing something where maybe I don't trade my full account on this stream, but I open up a $10,000 account or something, and then go from there. I have a video on how to do custom formulas. Let me get that for you. So the question was just any videos on how to do custom formulas in TI. Let me show you this basic one. And if you've already gone over this, maybe we'll do a little more. Again, this is, I'm trying to figure out kind of what I'm doing here, if you guys can't tell. I think there's a benefit to, you know, I go on YouTube and I type in day trading and I see that there's a couple guys that are just sharing trade idea scanners, not doing anything. 1,000+ people are watching them. And then I see people that I know are scamming, and, you know, thousands of people are watching those. And I'm like, there's got to be a place for someone who wants to be honest and tell people, you know, honest, legitimate things, and show honest, legitimate trading. So I'm just trying to find out, what is that, right? Do I show my scans, right? Do I show the way to trade, how I trade, right? It's like, what do I do that is going to help people in a way to kind of, hopefully, if I find one person that doesn't pay someone $10,000 for, you know, because he saw him make 100 grand on YouTube, which he didn't actually do and doesn't actually exist, you know, then I think I've done some good there. And again, if, oh, what's no data? No data. So there's something going on with the stream here I gotta figure out. It keeps yelling at me. That's interesting. We'll figure it out. YouTube is not receiving enough data to maintain the stream. Why? Why is that? My speed test is great. Anyway, guys, thanks for putting up with this intro stream. If you're liking this, and more importantly, if you're liking what I'm talking about, I'm going to be doing, again, tell everyone that's someone who's a illegitimate scammer. Oh yeah, my download is not very good right now. No data. What is going on? Sorry guys, I'm working on it here. Let me lower the audio bit rate a bit, see if that helps. Again, feedback's great. You know that I'll fix this stuff coming down the road for sure. Should I change? I have it on normal latency. Maybe I got to move it to low latency. Maybe I got to change it from 1080p to 720p or something like that. I don't know if anyone understands streaming. My email is in the description below. You can fire me an email and let me know what's going on. I've got, 15-inch MacBook Pro with a dedicated GPU and 32 gigs of RAM and a 6-core processor and all this kind of stuff. So I would assume things would work well. See, I'm looking at my stream, my iPad, and it looks fine. I don't know what YouTube's yelling at me for. I don't know. Maybe YouTube's just being crazy. But yeah, again, back to your custom formula section. Check out that video. If there's any custom formulas you want to look on, let me know. Basically, what you can do with custom formulas, you can build anything. Oh, here's BJ. Oh, that's an interesting one. And then always, guys, as traders, check back with the SPY, right? So again, I'm watching the SPY on my other monitor here, and right, the areas to watch for the SPY are the pre-market lows here, and then this little high we made earlier. As long as we're in this range, it's kind of a trade whatever you want environment. If you're looking for scalps, this is the best time when the market's just within this range. A breakout and a hold of... Yeah, I'm going to watch this on my iPad and I look fine. I don't know what YouTube's talking about. As long as we're below this and above that, it's kind of a scalper's market. I just got a ping from Oracle. It may be breaking down under these lows here. I don't... myself, not saying it's a bad strategy, but myself I don't like to chase the breakdown. I like to get the pullback, right? I am streaming fine. Thanks, Mick. I'll just call you Mick. I don't know, like I got this, I think I can show you this, but I got like this dashboard thing, and it's just been like, it's been yelling warning and all this stuff at me, and I was worried that you guys were not seeing anything, but I'll just ignore that for now. Maybe they don't know what the hell they're talking about. So on Duncan, things are looking good here. So what I essentially do is I'm looking here at the candles, right? This hammer candle is kind of telling here on the 15-minute chart. I'm going to see how this 15-minute bar closes, and that's 10 minutes from now, and see, we may just make a couple $100 today and call it a day, and be fine with that. It's KTV. Am I seeing, it may be hard to borrow. See, I don't want to do the trades on here if I'm not able to do them live. And nothing is coming through my... Nothing is coming through these alerts. So the difference with these things that I auto trade through here is that these are things that I'm interested not only for day trades, but also if they close well, potential swings, right? So Gap stores, right? If Gap stores kind of gets up in this area, the robot will buy it for me. And if we close up in this area, I may hold it for another couple days. Now, I've said this in my wrap-up videos. Again, if you're just stumbling upon the stream and you're not a subscriber, you don't see all my videos. Again, I've been making videos on this channel for ages. And I talk about all of the swing trading and everything I do on those. I think it's a better format than live streaming. And with the election coming up, I am paring down everything. Like, I am not nearly in as many positions as I used to. But what I'm still doing is I'm looking for Steve and Andy called swing scalps, right? Where you buy it and you try to hold it for a day or two, and then you sell it after that. So I don't see any of this, and probably a lot of it's to do with the weakness of the market. So now that we've got a breakdown in Oracle, I'm going to be interested watching to see if we can kind of reclaim this. So again, my pattern, my setup, the way in which I trade is, let me just draw it, right? Is, you know, you pick a support and resistance area, you get a breakdown of it, you get a pullback to it, and when you get that kind of turn again, that's where I want to be involved myself, because the stop's really tight. Does it mean, you know, it means if Oracle falls down to oblivion now, I've just missed it, and, you know, I'm fine with that, right? I'm to the point where I don't have FOMO. I don't really miss out on anything. And if we look shorter, let's actually make this a 1 minute chart on Duncan, right? We talked about this before the market opened, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to see this break down this support area, and then I wanted it to retest it, and then I wanted to move forward. So I shorted it kind of right here as this hammer candle rejected that prior resistance with a stop initially. It's kind of up in this area somewhere, and right, you can see what happened here. Now I'm basically just waiting to get out of the back half of this position somewhere for a scalp, right? Put that couple $100, about the same on this, and then the same with sit, which I wasn't as patient for. I probably should have been, but it had this area here of resistance. It broke down, came back up, and I took a short in this area with a stop up here. You can see this is a very small position and not a lot of risk. So I'm going to see if I can maybe add to it there as well. All right, but again, that is my trade. That is my trade. That's my setup when it comes to day trading, when it comes to swing trading. That's just how I do it. And, you know, not to say one of them's right and one of them's wrong. I find it's the way that I can maintain the most amount of discipline by waiting for that second move. You know, for example, with SAP is hugging the low end of this range. It broke down out of that range barely and came back and tested it. So, you know, with SAP, what I would want to see is then just that second continuation down, and I may look to short off of VWAP here and take a little bit out there. You know, SAP, let me draw this line for where I have this example, right? So you have this area, you know, it's kind of hard to see because it's a bit choppy, but, you know, call it this area here. Right, it broke down out of it, it came back and tested it, and it rejected it. So now I'm trying to look to see if there's going to be a continuation down. If I get it, great. If I don't, it's fine. It's to the point where, for me anyway, most of my income is actually made on my swings, and my day trades are mainly to keep me more involved in the market, for lack of a better term. And right at the same time, I have a lot of other things I do. I help build a lot of the AI stuff for trade ideas, which, you know, part of the rules is I can't show any of the AI kind of trading here, but I do keep an eye and see what it's doing. But it's just part of the trading rules, right? And it's the rules that we give to everyone, and I should be no different. So that's why I'm not talking about it. I do trade with the AI and all of that. And there's some good ones today. So it might be time to get out of Duncan here. We'll see. So what I'll do is I'll drop the stop. And I love that you can do. So again, if you guys are new to trade ideas and you didn't see what I just did there, is this is my stop loss order, this blue line right here. So I was able to just say, hey, I want to get out if this thing, you know, looks like it's going to make another high, and I could just grab it and drag it down. And it tells me right here that on top of the 70 bucks or so we made before, I'll make another 60 bucks or so if that gets triggered. And I can just grab it and move it and then move on. It allows me to have multiple positions going, because I know I can just, right, here's the stop loss, I can just drag this up and down. I can do the same with the profit target. And, you know, sit, I think sits might just be a bad trade. So I'm going to see if this thing coils down. If it does, I'm actually going to add to it. I'm going to look to add a lot. Let's call it right here. Oh, I need to change something real quick here on these to allow that to work. And then, sorry, I have these set up perfectly on my other one, but I got to set them up here. So it's one of those, if sit climbs higher, I'm going to be out. If sit moves under VWAP in this area, I want it to short me another lot. And mRNA is looking very good. It doesn't move very much, does it, though? No, I'd have to take a big position there to get any profits out of that. So I'm not in. But again, right, the same. I'm a very boring trader. Right, broke down, came back and tested it, maybe break down again, but right, just not a big mover. And then from a swing trading point of view, this actually looks like it could move higher. So okay, so we're stopped out of Duncan. So 150 in my real account, and then this one's a little lower. Again, I'm shocked nothing is coming through this list. Maybe it's just the SPY. It's probably the SPY. Looks like we're rallying up here. So here's the time of day where I usually zoom out from, you know, short-term charts to more 5 minutes and look at the candlestick patterns. I'm going to look to possibly pick up this GSK if we get above here. Again, for the same, right? What you'll notice is that this trading's kind of boring, right? We had this support area, bounced off it, tested it again. Right, we broke through this kind of resistance area here from late in the day yesterday, and we came back and tested it. Now it looks like we're moving off of it. So let's actually not do it with this. Let's wait a second here, and if this breaks, I'm going to buy this, and I'm with the stop at the low of the day. I think is going to be a better stop loss. SAP, missed that SAP. I want to take it off VWAP. It's too late now. All right. So we broke through this support here on BJ. I actually have this as a potential short swing trade for anyone who watched my video on Friday. If you didn't watch my video on Friday, go watch my video on Friday. It hasn't triggered short yet because it broke down that area early in the day. So I may actually look for this as a long swing trade if we get a bit of a bounce off of this area here with a stop under this low. And then I'm always watching any other trades for re-entry, right? So if Duncan, if we can get back in this area on Duncan. So sit, stopped out there. Calm, chill trading, and SAP is coming back up. I'm glad I didn't chase that. So we got about another half hour to see if I can load in. Usually by now, this is a very, very slow day, just full disclosure. Usually by now I'm No, don't worry about bot related questions. Again, usually by now you would see a lot of bot trades. It's just none of my algos today think it's worthwhile to be trading. So trade. All right, we're going to take some BJ there. So SAP, yeah, well, again, it depends on the algorithm you want, right? First, you need to know what algorithm that you want to trade. So if you want to trade a gap down and then a push off of VWAP, right? You would build an algo that says, I want stocks that gap down and are near VWAP, and I want to, I want to sell those if they break the low of the day or the resistance or whatever your algo is. So you could do that for sure. You just got to figure out what it is you're going to look to do and then back test that, right? And again, you can take any strategy and you can just back test it and get these results to see whether or not it's something that you would be interested in. And again, I know people will ask as soon as I back test this if I can share it, and I cannot. It's got a lot of things and customs in the back end and things that I'm working on that I can't really share. But, this is what would happen is if I took every single trade from these scans. And I have other accounts in which they're just running these things automatically for me. It's not the accounts that I'm going to show you guys because there's not really much benefit in me just saying, hey, look at the money that I'm making from this. I want to show you guys stuff about things that you can do if you're interested or not in algo trading. So again, there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I want a break of resistance after it's touched VWAP on a big gap down stock. Today it would have worked great because it would have been both probably Oracle and SAP, are probably the two you would have gotten, and those would have been great trades. I've got my eyes here on the SPY. That's why I'm more looking long than short because, we talked about earlier in the day, I said, as long as the SPY was in this range, right, the high here and then the low here, that it was just going to probably be choppy. And we broke out of that, so we're holding above. So now it's, can we stay above this range? Do we come back into it? If we come back into it, that's just probably more of a sign that it's going to be a choppy day. I honestly expect a lot of chop for the next handful of days going into your guys' election. I say your guys', I'm Canadian, but I just expect to see a lot of that. So I'm watching Duncan on this bounce up. We had a good trade earlier. I wonder, I'm thinking maybe of shorting it again here on just 100 shares short if we start to pull off here. Yeah, let's actually do that. And then I'm going to make that stop again over 104. It looks like it's weakening into VWAP and into this prior resistance. So I'm going to nibble on a little bit there. If we get a little bit kind of higher here, I may nibble on a little bit more. If it's going to just turn around and go, I'm going to be quick to be out of this one. Mostly you would see all of this stuff like filling in, but it seems like I'm on some test servers and it looks like there may be something off on there. Looking over my swings, and the gap down hurt them a bit, but everything looks like it's doing fine after that. We got TUP here. Which, yeah. So I was looking at this one to pop up. It doesn't look like it's going to happen today. Pulling back, but I may put a alert above 23 on TUP. Kirkland Gold is interesting just because it's holding this support right here. It's moving, KTB's moving, so everything's moving higher-ish except BJ. So we were sitting up a little bit today, but there's not, again, I'm not going to force it on days like this. Normally I would probably be a little more active. The bot would definitely be way more active, but I probably picked the worst time to start streaming these because I'm really, really dialing everything back. You can probably see just how kind of chill I'm sounding and everything. Just because of your election, I'm not gonna push that. So question, am I going to be streaming daily? I am. I'm trying to figure out what the format's going to be and what would be best for you guys, right? Is it better for me to stream this? Because again, as you guys know, I'm not much of a day trader anymore. I dabble, I figure if I can pull out another few grand a month or something, then that's great. But I'm mostly swing trading. And then I think the question is it better for me to stream at night when I do most of my work on building algorithms and when I do most of my work on getting the bot ready for tomorrow? The bot, you can see, didn't do much of anything today. I may, if Duncan breaks down, I may add. We got Yang here. So Yang's kind of interesting, right? We had this resistance area here from yesterday. We retested it. Looks like we're going to push higher. Oh, this is China Bear ETF. That's interesting when you do a bit of technical analysis and then you realize what the thing is. Right. But yeah, I want to do more streaming. Let's put it that way. I just don't know what is best for you guys, what you guys want to see the most of from me. Again, if you want to see someone scalping the market, I'm probably not the best guy, and I'll be honest about that. Again, I'm more of a swing trader. Most of my income now is from swing trading. So that's something I focus on. I'm an algo trader, even though none of my algorithms are firing off today. But I figured, again, when I go on YouTube and I type in day trading, I see people streaming our stuff. Ours is in Trade Ideas stuff with no feedback, no talking, no nothing. They're just, right, here's Trade Ideas. And then I see people who shall not be named, but are obviously scamming people by saying things like, hey, look at me, I just made $100,000 just super quick. Let me show you the screen right after I did it. And now pay me $1,000 a month for this rip-off version of Trade Ideas that I made. So I just want to say, okay, where would it be? Well, where's kind of the best benefit, I guess, to you guys? And again, to support this and what I'm doing and to give me feedback and to give me more is to share it around, right? Go on Twitter and say, hey, stop looking at scammers streams and take a look at this guy, or say, hey, this is an interesting thing you should check out. And the more it grows, the more it will be interesting to me, right? PEIX is a very interesting one for a swing. I'll talk about my swings too. So PEIX is something that I'm looking at to enter for a swing. It's holding this fairly well. An engulfing candle like over yesterday's high I think would be super interesting on this one. And then I'm also looking at the monster that is Kodak. And I'm just looking at this because it's probably better on a 15-minute chart. I've made so many trades, anyone who's been watching, where I've been buying in this $8 area, then selling in this $10 area. And I've done it like 2 or 3 times now. Now this looks really bad. This looks really gross. But I'm wondering if it's worth another nibble in the $8 area. Because the first one I got was down here. Again, the simple concept, right? We have a resistance area here. It broke it, tested, bounced once, tested again. So my first buy was in this area. And I was out a little bit here and then a little bit on this gap down. And then I repurchased on this day, not obviously at the low tick, probably somewhere around here. And I was out a day or 2 later. And then I repurchased on this day. And then I was out a day or 2 later. And I'm wondering if I should keep... Like, how many times can it bounce off this $8-ish area until it just, crashes through and goes to probably 0? Right? We're trading. We're not marrying them. Take the stock. We get in. We like it. Looks good. Great. Maybe we get out after that. I'm looking to see if a little bit of an engulfing happening here on Duncan. Need more swing trading. Penny stock day trading is like musical chairs. Yeah, I totally agree with that. You notice none of these are penny stocks, right? I don't really believe in a lot of that. But again, we're going to go until 10:30, 11. And I'll shut it off, and then I got a bunch of other stuff I got to do. I got another video. I've got a new video series I'm going to record. It's going to be out. We're going to add to our Duncan position. And we're going to lower this right here. We're going to see if this is going to be the move. Sorry, I just hit the mic. I know how triggering that is. Now let's see. But yeah, I do a lot of, again, mostly swing trading. I just don't know if streaming is the right format for swing trading, or maybe it's I turn the stream on maybe an hour before the end of the day, and I talk about what I've entered that day and maybe what I've exited that day, something like that. I don't know. So this is going to be, I'm looking to be right or right out on this Duncan. I added to the position. So the initial short was right here before VWAP, right? Bounced a little bit above, and then it came back down. Again, just looking at this prior area of resistance in through here. And so I added to the position right here, and I lowered my stop down so that it's still a small risk. So it's one of those things, if this goes with me on this next candle, great. If not, I'm just going to flip out of it and call it a day. The SPY, bring in the SPY here, it's kind of fighting, it's struggling, came back into today's range, came back out of today's range. Again, I suspect chop, right? I suspect a lot of chop for the next few days, which is why, I started this from a day trading perspective, because swing trading I'm just not doing as much of. I just don't think there's I will not be in a position going into your guys' election. Again, Canadian, apolitical, right? I will ban any political chat from this channel, period. But there is no denying that this is a very contentious time and election for you guys. And with that, it means that OGI. With that, it essentially just means that, you're better to be in cash, right? If you don't know more or less what's going to happen. I guess you never know what's going to happen, right? If you have no idea if there's a binary event, let's put it that way, you wouldn't trade into earnings, is kind of a better way to put it, right? No one's going to go into earnings and say, I'm going to buy this and I'm going to hope it goes up into earnings. Well, think of your election as kind of earnings for your entire country, right? There's this giant event that's about to occur, and it's everybody's down there seems to be mad at each other all the friggin' time. But the politics aside, I obviously Canada, I don't care who wins or loses, but whatever happens, there's going to be this dramatic kind of push from the market that something is going to occur, right? There's going to be some sort of a big event. I would be shocked if, the day before the election, the market's here and then the open is right here. So when you're going into a binary event that is going to push it one way, or your stock, the market, Forex, whatever you're trading, Bitcoin, one way or the other, you're best to sit out. And if you find that you feel the need to kind of take a bet on it, then you should really check that feeling. And to say, are you gambling? Are you in a situation where you really need to make money trading in order to feed the kids or do this or do that or do the other thing? Because if so, I don't think trading's for you, right? It's just, that's not the game. The game is to find something that you can repeat commonly, kind of over and over and over again. Yeah, I'm not seeing a lot. Like anywhere. Like in day trading, in swing trading, in wherever. And I've learned that when I get this feeling of I'm not seeing a lot, it's best not to do much of anything. GPS's gaps holding higher. Oh, we're going to kill out of this, I think. Pretty quick. Yeah, this may be a break-even kind of a day. It would be up $50 or so, but it might just be a nice, just a blah kind of a day. Yeah, I'm not seeing a whole lot. I may just kind of call it an even day and move on. Which, by the way, this is real trading, and I know it's going to be boring to some, but this is real trading, right? You pick your position, takes a little bit to get through. You know, some days make a couple 100,000. Some days you make nothing. Some days you lose money. NK, nothing really. No real opinion. It's in the middle of its range on the daily. It's in the middle of its range on intraday. It did do that kind of breakout of yesterday's range and then a retest here and a go. So if it was around 850 or so, that might be interesting, but really nothing where it is here. And BJ, I'm going to raise this stop up. All right, if it gets under, I don't know, say if it gets under 39. No, even more right there. So Duncan's really messing around this area. I like this swing for a swing trade on NK. Not a pattern that I'm not one that I'll just analyze a chart. I'm very much a pattern trader. I've got a handful of patterns in which I watch. I don't, if I don't see that pattern, I don't trade. And to be honest there, I just don't see a pattern that would interest me. Again, not to say that it's anything wrong with it or it's a bad setup or whatever, but if you have a pattern that you've tested in some fashion, right? You've either back tested it or forward tested it, and it tests well, then by all means, have at her. SPY looks like it might be as we talked about, right? Oh, get over it. I don't want a trial music premium. Get out of your YouTube. I specifically picked this one because it was 0 copyright. I don't want anyone yelling at me. So yeah, SPY, right? Pre-market high, pre-market low, broke out, failed, broke out, looking like we're failing. Just a chop and slop day. So today's the day where if you have money in your swing trade, you might want to look to take it. BJ, I just want to raise the stop even more. I'm not liking the look of this, and soon I'm going to be out of this one as well. Right, if we get another break under here, maybe I'll add another 100 shares and then see. But again, slop. Sounds good. Still working on how to back test these support and resistance area, but again, it's too subjective to back test. That's the answer, right? You can't back test subjectivity like that, right? What you say is support and resistance may not be what something else says support and resistance. You got to think like a computer when it comes to back test. You got to think, right? I am looking for this, right? I am looking for a moving average or a candlestick pattern, or it's got to be something a computer can see and can read. If it's subjective, like, oh, it's support, oh, it's resistance. And to be honest, because if you tell me on NK, on the daily, I don't, the only support I see is way down here, right? So your definition of support and resistance may be way different. So you just remember, you cannot test subjectivity, right? You just can't. It's got to be a very objective measure, right? Again, a moving average is an objective measure. A candlestick pattern is an objective measure. A time that it's been at a price, or a movement away from that price. These are all objective type measures. When you're looking at what you're looking at, it's coming to subjectivity. Now, what you can do, and what I do with my swing trading, and this is a video that I've got planned soon, is I do what they call symbolless trading, in which I will, all of these symbols right here, the robot is looking at to potentially trade. And I just made this list on Friday. And today I'll at the end of the day, I will clear out this list, right? I'll delete it, and then I'll start a new list again from scratch. And then I can say, for example, if anything on this list breaks yesterday's high or yesterday's low or something, then do something with that. And that's a way that you can trade. But again, whatever you put, if you want to automate a system, it has to be incredibly objective. It can't be subjective in any way, shape, or form. It's got to be, something that you could just think, could you explain to someone who's never traded before? It's got to be, if the candle looks like this and it's above this line, then buy, right? It has to be that kind of simplistic. And even when it comes to our AI, that's what our AI does in that kind of simplistic way, right? It takes basic strategies and applies basic rules, and from there it just kind of goes. All right, so I'm gonna add one last lot here on Duncan short and just lower my stop again. You notice every time I'm adding a position, I'm lowering my risk. It's never add a position, leave the risk the same. Because on a dollar amount, on swing trades or on day trades, I want to risk that $100 type area. On day trades, I want to risk that $100 area. And on swing trades, it's between $200 and $500. Because again, that's a percentage value of my account. So I know that I'm risking, to make the math easy, risking 1% to make 2%, right? Risking 2% to, you should never risk more than 2% of the value of your account on any given trade. And, a lot of people look at those and they say, well, those are tiny numbers. But, if you're risking 1% and you can make 2% and you can make 2% fairly often, then you look at that at the end of the year and you've got 100, 200, 300%. Like my swing trading count year to date is up about 150 some odd percent. It wasn't done through just, smacking a home run. It was done through, little tiny trades, right? You make 1%, you compound that, right? You look to make another percent. It's like, okay, no, now I've lost a percent or two. CDE. So from a swing trading point of view, this is something that came through a back-tested strategy. And again, to use the example, what it's looking for is a series of dojis and then a break of that. So then I eye it and I say, well, is this an area that I'm interested in? Well, it filled the gap here, so it is. It's just kind of, everything I swing trade right now, I think has to have potential to like really go pretty quickly, or I'm not really interested, and I don't see that. And there goes the SPY. Right, so we talked about this again all day. Again, in my other account, I didn't have time to do it here, so that's why I wasn't really talking about it, but I am short the SPY right in this area, which is doing well. But we just talked about, right, look at the pre-market high, look at the pre-market low, right, chop, 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 nothing really happening, and then it broke. I honestly expected, I shorted here because of this really wide bar. I've already scalped out some. But again, I didn't expect this move. I don't know if there's some news out or something. Again, I don't watch, I don't listen to the news, but again, I expect every move to be faded, kind of going forward. Come on, Duncan. So for Duncan, I'm going to target half of my position. And this is just how I trade, where I always want to just target half. I'm going to target half my position. Let's just say go to, and let's just a little bit above the whole number and above the, so I'm just targeting above the whole number and above the low of the day here on half. And then I'll drop my stop loss to break even. And, you know, this may be something, or I probably will leave the stop loss where it is. And then I'll probably, you know, turn off the stream if we get there, and I'll be done day trading for the day. What I generally do is everything in the afternoon, it's everything that's not trading relating that I have to do. So the videos I make for you guys, again, share this around if you like it. I'm basically going to do a test. If I do this for a couple weeks and I see, like right now there's 6 viewers, right? If I see that there's not too many people that are interested, I'll just go back to videos. But the you know, the afternoon is making videos, and it's editing them, and it's, you know, building algorithms, and it's, you know, just stuff. It's like my creative time, which I'm going to always do, I think, with the camera off. And then at night, you know, I take an hour or two in the afternoon anyway, and just, you know, I usually do this stuff on the back deck when it's warm up here in Canada, you know, just relaxing in a kind of a meditative state. And then after the market closes, when I go through and I do my scans for the night before. So maybe that's something that would interest you guys more than watching me trade. Maybe it's doing the nighttime scanning. Again, if just feedback and let me know. And then as a math guy, I'll just always let the numbers decide, right? If I get 6 people here and then at night I get 20 or 30 that watch the scanning and the algorithm building, then that will tell me what it is you want to see. Because I certainly know I'm not the most exciting day trader, which is probably, to be perfectly honest, is a good lesson for you guys about why I'm a successful day trader. Is, you know, if I turn everything off right now, what am I up? $50? Just nothing, right? It's not nothing, but it's not, right? You're not feeding yourself off that. But I focus more on the swing trading side of things. So that's kind of where the bread and butter comes from, because But that's incredibly boring because, 2 months can go by with no trading at all. Or not no trading, but no profits, right? I can be sitting in a position forever with nothing going on. Again, actually, let's look at that. This is something that I like to show. Let me close this. Let's wrap this up with this. So let's go, where is this? So this is a presentation I did for Wealth 365. So if you watch this on Wealth 365, don't worry, it's just not a rehash. There's something important here I want to show. And this is why I don't think, maybe again, scanning for the stocks or building the algorithms would be interesting. This is why I don't think live streaming swing trading would be too interesting, because if you look, here we are. So we're getting some profits on Duncan. If we go down, come on, Edge. Jeez. So here is, it's a little bit better now, but here's my swing trading account year to date when at the time I made this presentation, right? And again, it looks great, right? 150 or so % return. That's great, right? This is my equity curve. This is the market equity curves. Right? Obviously a good thing. Now, look closely, for example, right? So this starts at the beginning of the year, and this is currently, right? So from here, let's call this February until end of March, right? No equity growth. From here, let's call it July or so until here, no equity growth, right? Another kind of 2-month block here with no equity growth, right? This is more of what I think of when I think of swing trading. And this is why I think that, again, I made this amount this week, this month, is kind of useless because, right, it's you can go 2 months and you can say, oh, I'm down this amount. But this is why it's better to develop your own system, so that I know that eventually in the system I have, I'll get this. It might take, this long, but eventually, if I keep losing small and then winning big on my system, then things will perform. So again, maybe it's better suited to do more scanning and nighttime stuff. So, right, that's why I think personally, right, like, what would you stream? But again, this is what's triggering me. This is what caused me to do this. If I go to YouTube right now, just do it here, and I search up right, so this is an unsigned in browser, because what you're looking at is a virtual machine. This isn't my actual computer. And then I go and I search up trade ideas, like there's this guy, right? 1,000 views, 600 views, and all they're doing is just this. Like, how is a trader? Oh yeah, great. Stop. Right, it's just, come on. Right, just, there you go. What is this? And I go day trading. I've actually watched this guy. He's pretty good. I'm not gonna talk anything about that guy. I like that guy. But, you know, there's thousands and thousands of viewers just watching just the scans. I'm like, hey, I'm an affiliate. I make money if you guys use the link below in the description to buy trade ideas. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Also, my email for mentoring. I'll put my email in here. I do mentoring one-on-one. And it's below every single one of my videos. It's like, you know, if that stuff's going on, then there's got to be some benefit. Oh, I didn't. Shit. Sorry, guys. In my other account, I actually sold half of Duncan in this area when it was just bouncing around here. I didn't tell you that, did I? Shit. No, I don't. I shouldn't even have said anything. Kodak. Guys, what do I do with Kodak? There's no way it's going to work like a fifth time, is there? So the plan in Kodak, again, has always just been long around this $8 area. Here, here, and here. And then selling, right, 10 to 12. Like I got a little bit out here, and then the rest, you know, when it gapped down. Is it going to do it again? Do I buy it here with a stop down here? So you want to talk swing trading, here's swing trading. You know, it's obviously an area of support. It's being held. It's just such a stupid story. Like, it's just they make cameras, you know. I don't know why they're succeeding in this market, right? They make cameras. I know they're doing something with some weird virus printing, and there's some sort of a lawsuit against them, and then they've got some sort of news with Trump or something. I don't focus on the news, but I do like to understand a little bit about the stock before I get involved in swings. And, you know, holding here. Right? Do I just take another crack? I should, shouldn't I? I should take another crack. Okay. All right, live swing trade time. Maybe that's what I'll use the sim count to mirror my swings. So how do I do the live swing trade? Right, again, I can do a right click thing, but I find these are a little bit more, you know, playing with, right? So here is how you do risk management in trading. So this is the most important thing you will ever learn in trading is risk management, 100%. And, you know, that is, say you have a $100,000 account, right? And you're going to risk 1% of that account on every trade, which is what I very strongly recommend. Not necessarily that percentage. If you're a new trader, go lower. If you're a seasoned trader, maybe you go as high as 2%, but that'd be about it. Then what you do is you say, okay, so that's $1,000, right? I want to risk $1,000 on this position. So first you go, is it possible that I could make, well, where is my stop going to be? So I'd be in around 8. and I'd probably do a stop around, call it 7. So I'm risking a point, right? I'm risking a dollar per share. So is it possible that I could make double that? That's the first, right, look at it. Is it possible I could make double that? $10? Well, yeah, right? It is, of course. It's been there a couple times over the last month. So that's that passed step 1. I can in theory and logically make more than I risk. Perfect. Now, the math on this one would be easy, right? You say, okay, what is my total risk going to be? How many shares do I want to buy? Well, if I'm risking $1,000 and it's going to be a point away, I'm going to buy 1,000 shares. So that's why I enter these more manually. So let's do that just here. And then I guess next time I stream, you'll see how the swing went. So I'm going to buy 1,000 shares of Kodak at 8:01. So let me go over and do that live. Okay, filled. So then you can right click here and I can just say add stop order, and I'm going to make that, let's make it 6.85, just in case it goes down to 7 and bounces, put a little under that $7 whole number. And there is our stop right there. So then I always take half of that, 500 shares, and we're going to put that out at 9. I just avoid whole numbers. We're going to put half of that out at 9.97. And then we're done. And this is why, on top of many other reasons, why I do mostly swing trading, is that you're done, right? Walk away, close the lid of your computer, go on, right? Do something else. You've got your swing trade open, unless you're obviously stocking more swing trades. The SPY continues to fall here. I can mirror my exit in Duncan now, can I? Yeah, I got around this price, I think. So how much should I take? I have 300. Oh, I took 100 off. Yeah, so I took 100 off around here. Oh, no, not Kodak. That should update. I wonder why that's not. Might be my test server. And we're going to go 102, spot 4. And then it was somewhere in this area. Okay, so there's the 200 shares I took off, and now I have 100 shares sitting at the area that we had that before. So I have 200 shares left, and I'm looking to get out 100 shares here, and my risk has been reduced. So now we've done a bit of day trading, and we've entered one swing, just a simple buy support. Hopefully sell resistance. Right, earnings November 4th, important to note. Right, big short float is very interesting. Earnings November 4th is very interesting. So you obviously have to be out before November 4th, which is that the day of your election, or is your election November 3rd? Because I'm going to be out of everything by then anyway. Yeah, so basically I have a week for this thing to potentially bounce higher, which, right, the moves happen dramatically. So it could, or it could just chop around, or it could stop me out in a week, right? Any of those things are possibilities. So we'll end this at 12 my time, which should give me enough time. Let me review my list here. To-do lists, man. It's how I run my life, is with this friggin' to-do list. Okay, yeah, I do have a fair amount on this to-do list today. I'm studying for my CMT, Chartered Market Technician, which I've got level 3 in December. So that's on the list. That's going to take a bit. And Duncan, just maybe one of these chop fests, unfortunately. The worry of, and the reason I keep bringing in the SPY, is I'm always looking for relative strength and relative weakness, even on the intraday chart. So Duncan is actually, on an intraday basis, relatively strong in comparison here to the SPY. So if we get a recovery today, again, I'm going to turn off the stream, so just for what I'm looking at, if we get a recovery today on the SPY, I will actually probably be looking to buy Duncan if it replaces this this VWAP here, because it's it's one of those things that if when the market is tanking, if the sellers can't get a hold of Duncan and make it sell as well, then when the market rallies, they've already kind of exhausted all of their energy pushing the stock lower, unsuccessfully. So when the tide's really against them and the market bounces, I may look to flip Duncan, over this kind of 103 area and see if it kind of wants to come up and retest, 104, 105. But again, the game plan remains the same. It's to take the other half of my position and then exit that, right? We're up 150, maybe $200 we'll make today. It's really nothing. Slow day. Nothing really ran for us one way or the other. What else did we try? We tried sit, and we were wrong in that direction. We tried BJ, and we're wrong in that direction. Now, BJ may, from the swing trading video, if you watch, it may trigger in this area here. Basically, I have the robot saying, if it triggers in that first opening range 5 minute or so, ignore it. But if we break back down here, it may actually enter that position short. And then remember Oracle that we were interested in. I wanted that retest. That was the mover today, right? If we had just taken the breakdown that we were looking at, that would have been the way. And then what was the other one? SAP we were looking at. Yeah, that was the good one too. So it happens. I just picked the wrong one. I made a little bit off it, but you're only as good as the stocks you trade, as the people say. And then I'll keep this Kodak swing in this account so that you guys can take a look at it as well. See whether or not it's one of those that if I lose on this one, I've made, well, I showed you, I think I made on 4 positions, about 1.5 to 2 times my risk. On one of them, I made 3 times my risk. So if we use the same $1,000 standard, basically means I've made 5,000-6,000 on Kodak. So I'm risking another 1,000 to try to continue to make more. And maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Nature of the beast. Checking on my other swings. Mostly I swing long, and that's obviously not been the move today. So, you know, things are not looking rosy in the swing world. Come on, Duncan. I would like to at least get the rest of this position out for the people before we recover. But again, this will turn into a video, and on this video, leave your feedback. Would you like to see more day trading? Are you more interested? My followers, are you more interested in swing trading? Do you want me to turn on the stream just randomly sometimes when I kind of feel the inspiration and just start building scans and algorithms and talking about what I'm swing trading? Is something more structured? Does that make sense to you? Again, what do you think? I've got no idea. I used to stream way back in the day when I was a really hyperactive day trader. I did some of that. And people liked it, but I'm not that anymore. That was a great way to get started, I think, in a trading career. It got me a lot of reps. What I found though is just I was very much capping my risk, right? Or capping my returns. There was like a limited amount I could make in returns by doing that. And then again, we've got another back to basics uploading. That's being uploaded, rendered, and put through now. We're almost done. We're almost to the point where Jess will have a full trading plan and know everything she needs to about the market. And then whether or not she decides to actually do anything with it or not is going to be entirely up to her. But we're going to at least stick it out until she has that trading plan so you guys can see how that would happen. So I think there's maybe 2 more lessons of the series to be recorded, and then that probably means maybe 5 lessons total to be done that you guys will see, and then that will be great. That'll be a free trading course from beginning until advanced, a completely free trading course that you guys can watch, which is something I always wanted to do, right? For the people who are very, very intro and basic within trading. Don't know what happened there. Is our sim maybe having an issue? That didn't happen in my real account. Yeah, I think something funky's going on in the test server that I'm living in. So that's probably, I was planning on ending it at noon anyway. It's probably the best time to do it. Again, with Duncan, let me bring up this chart here. The plan still remains the same for me, so you can just kind of see how I would have done. Is that, right, I'm either going to get stopped out here, or it's going to come and get the last little bit in this area here. And then from there, I will just kind of let it ride that last little position just to see if we kind of want to fill over the next day, even longer, maybe, holding it for a swing. And then we'll go from there. So, all right, again, feedback in the comment section when the video is uploaded would be great. On Twitter, I'm at Bonpar on Twitter, would be great as well. Just, let me know what it is you guys want to see. I'm interested in more streaming. I just need to figure out kind of where I'm going to live there. So that's going to be it for me. Time to get back to other